As the Biden administration considers reopening the migrant detention camp for teens in Homestead, we're hearing for the first time from Florida Senator Marco Rubio.
Rubio spoke with CBS 4's Jim DeFede, where they covered a wide array of subjects. In this portion of the interview, Rubio discusses the detention center and why he no longer supports comprehensive immigration reform.
Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea to open up that detention center?
I think we have no choice. Now, in this particular case, they're arguing they need to do it because of the COVID, and so they don't have time to process people. But the bottom line is this: we have seen a surge in minors coming to the border over the last month. And the reason why there's a surge is because the message has gotten out that there's this new presidency, there's the new administration. And if you show up at the border with children, they're going to process you, they're going to admit you into the country, and they're going to say you need to show up for an asylum hearing that most don't even show up for. And that gets out. Now, trust me when I tell you, I feel tremendous compassion for these people. I understand what they are fleeing. I do. I also understand that the people that are bringing them here are horrible, evil human beings, these traffickers. They take advantage of them. They rape the women. Some of those people don't even make the journey. They charge them thousands of dollars. And by the way, these people lie. They go back and they say there's a new law in America. You can now get in, just bring a child. And we know this. And so when you allow a group to show up at the border and allow them in because they have children, you are basically creating an incentive to bring children on that dangerous journey.
Is there any aspect of the plans that are starting to take root? Is there anything there that you would support? A pathway to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented folks in this country? Would you support something for them?
Okay, so you're asking about the legislation they're proposing.
Yes.
So here's the bottom line. Number one is our number one focus now should be on getting through this pandemic and rebuilding our economy. That should be our number one priority. This is not, I don't think immigration reform at this moment is as important as it was in 2013 or at times in the past. Number two, and I've said this now over and over again since that experience in 2013, the only way that you have a chance to move forward on immigration reform is first and foremost, you have to prove to the American people that illegal immigration, unlawful immigration is under control. You cannot say that right now when we have a surge of illegal immigration on our borders, including children arriving. Number three, the number one priority of our immigration system is we have to have laws and they have to be enforced. And they are among the most generous laws on the planet. 1 million people a year are admitted into the United States legally every single year. We're proud of that, but that's the process. And that you're not going to enforce that process, then you're not going to have a process. Mexico has immigration laws. Canada has immigration laws. Every country in the world has them. We need them as well. At some point, we have to modernize our legal immigration system. It is my view that a 21st century immigration system needs to be based more on what you're going to do when you come here for work than it simply is on how many family members you have living here. And then at some point, after you've done those two things, you will have to deal with the fact that you've got 10, 11, 12, I don't know what the number is now, millions of people in the country that have been here a long time, who are not dangerous criminals, and frankly, at this point are not going to go back and may even own businesses. And you're going to have to find a way to incorporate them into American life. But if you don't do the other two things first, that 12 million will turn into 25 or 30 million, and we'll never get this problem solved.
But how many of those people have become the essential workers that we need so often? I mean, I think about, you say the pandemic is a reason not to move forward with immigration reform right now and to help those folks. I could make the argument that the pandemic is the reason why, because we've placed so much on them. They're working in fields and in packing plants and in places that have kept food on our tables at risk to their own lives. And should they not be able to try to come forward?
Yeah, but that's a different topic. If they're working in fields, then that calls for fixing our agriculture program, which I've put forward ideas on how to do it. Because a lot of those people would like to come here seasonally, work, go back home, come back again. The reason why they don't leave is because they're going to have trouble getting back in next year. If you have seasonal labor needs, or defined shortages in certain fields, then you modernize the system to make it possible for people to come here legally, go back legally, and come back again legally.
So is that something you could do soon, as opposed to waiting?
But that's not what they want. I understood, but that's not what they're proposing. They're proposing to do it all at once. And I'm telling you, if you do those things before you put in place the enforcement, and right now we don't have enforcement. They've suspended the wall. They told ICE to release people, to not prioritize for deportation certain people. When you do that, you're actually encouraging the people to come here illegally.
What about the Dreamers? How about the Dreamers? Can we finally take care of the Dreamers in a separate standalone bill?
Sure.
And you would support that?
But yeah, and that offer was made 3 years ago, I believe. In fact, President Trump made a very generous offer 3 years ago. He made a very generous offer, and it was turned down because they didn't just want the Dreamers, they also wanted their parents. And they also wanted them to then use their new status to be able to claim relatives to come in from abroad. They're the ones that are not willing to compromise on this, because the activist immigrant, not the immigrants, most immigrants simply want to be legalized or want a process to be legalized. But the activist elements and the left and the Democratic Party, they want it all. They want the whole thing. And that's where the problem becomes. If they were willing to do it in pieces, you could get a lot done.
You can watch Jim's extensive interview with Senator Marco Rubio on Facing South Florida this Sunday morning at 11:30.